Welcome to Behind the Badge. I'm Undersheriff Korey Brown, filling in for Sheriff Todd Baxter, and I'm very excited today because we're going to talk about community engagement. Throughout my career, this is one of the things I enjoyed the most because it really gives you a chance to get out and interact with the community and just see them when they're not in crisis. When it's not an emergency, you just have time to interact and really make a difference. So I'm excited to be here. I'm excited about my guests, and I'm going to start with Deputy John Payne and just explain exactly what a community engagement deputy is and a little bit about his career and why he wanted to become one.
Well, thank you for having me on the podcast. As the name indicates, community engagement is engaging with the community. But like you said, when you show up, when our men and women show up for a call for service, we're looking to see, has there been a crime committed? Is there a suspect in the area? So there's other layers to our job besides having a positive impact on the community. So being a community engagement deputy, it's double positive because typically people want you there, and you have that ability to really make an impact and engage with them. And you might be there for a talk, say senior scam talk, and I meet with the seniors from Hamlin. Afterwards, you definitely have 5, 6, 7 individuals that come up to you and talk to you about different facets of law enforcement or people that they know, or ask you about your career. So it's very interesting because you definitely get to have this wider impact, a positive impact on the community, to be a good steward of the sheriff's office in the community.
Yeah, I noticed a few years ago we changed it from crime prevention officer to community engagement deputy to try to really instill that we're here to engage with the community. And it's amazing that when you talk to people in the community, they never get a chance to actually talk to a deputy and ask them whatever you want. I've noticed a lot of times when I've given presentations, afterwards they ask questions that have nothing to do with the presentation, but they finally get a chance to sit down and talk with somebody one-on-one and just ask every police question they have. So it's a great way to interact.
Yeah, it's definitely changed from the road, being out there on the day-to-day patrol. So it's nice to have those interactions, like you said. I'm always tell people, I'm like, hey, I don't get offended by anything. I've been a police officer now for almost 16 years, so ask away. When I was a DARE officer, I once had a 5th grader ask me, do police officers eat as many donuts as we think you do? So at that point, I knew that you've got to push stuff to the side and roll with it. So it's nice to have those conversations with people and really hear from them and have the ability to kind of be involved with their life and answer those questions. So that's been a real fun aspect for me, is the different conversations that you have with the community, the different demographics that you meet with, especially with being out in C-Zone, anywhere from Chili to Hamlin, you get all sorts of different folks from different walks of life. So it's definitely very eye-opening, but very rewarding.
Great. Next, we're going to talk to Deputy Valvassori. How long have you been a community engagement deputy? I know it's a new role.
1 month.
So what made you want to do that?
Well, connection is safety. So if we can connect with the community on a human-to-human basis, not necessarily police officer to, civilian or police officer to community member, it just creates an all-around feeling of safety. I think it's good for the community to know what resources we have. We're not just out there taking crime reports and trying to solve crimes. We're also trying to prevent crimes from happening. We're trying to prevent victims from becoming victims. That's why I wanted to help with that.
You come from a unique perspective in that you do a type of community engagement that we're very glad that Deputy Payne does not. And
What's
that is with the singing of the national anthem and all the singing that you do. So how did that start? How did you end up?
So I've been singing since I was a kid. And I think it all started with sporting events. Growing up, I played volleyball and would do the anthem before our games, and then that led to more games, singing at weddings, a couple bands when I was younger, and then once I got into my career field, that was kind of set aside for a little bit. And then I think was randomly asked to do the anthem here one year, and then it just evolved.
How many times a year do you think you sing the national anthem representing the sheriff's office?
I lost count this past year, so I just stopped counting.
Okay.
Several times a month it became.
Okay. I know I've seen you all over. You get requests from all over. So
I do, which is also nice because it's kind of become another community engagement thing. So yeah, I enjoy it.
So we were out at the Speedway last year, and you sang the national anthem. And I can't tell you the number of people that came up to me and mentioned you singing it, and being from the sheriff's office. So it's a wonderful community engagement.
Yeah.
Maybe we can get the other two deputies to assist one
Yeah, you guys
one
want to?
time, and
Yeah, I could fake it.
Backups?
You know. Lip sync. Lip sync.
So our next community engagement deputy is Deputy Todd Thurston. Just explain kind of why you wanted to be a community engagement deputy, how long you've got in the sheriff's office. And
Okay, Deputy Thurston. I'm coming up on 22 years with the sheriff's office. I started working in the jail bureau for about 4 years. And then I, 2007, started working road patrol. And after about 12 or 13 years being on the road, I wanted to try something different. And community engagement at that time was crime prevention. Interested me in the fact that you can get out of the car, you can walk, you can talk to people, get into the communities where we're not seen. And that was important to me. And that's the reason I got into community engagement was I wanted to reach people that we haven't talked to, we didn't bridge that gap with. I got into the schools. I would go out and walk business districts, areas, get out and try to meet as many people as I could and bridge that gap, show that there's other people, working in the department, not just the road patrol.
so what are some of the community engagement opportunities in A-Zone where you work? And just kind of explain where A-Zone is and the opportunities that are there. I think one of the things that we're always trying to do is reach more people and let people know that there's a way to contact us, and we'll come out and talk at different community events. We'll come to different things around the community, and you started a couple of community events in A-Zone to get the community involved.
Right, so a couple of things I'm pretty proud of, but back in 2018, we didn't really have liaisons between the sheriff's office and the school district, so that's something that became important to me. I work out of Penfield, Pittsford, and Barrington. So I got involved with the school districts. I would go in to meet the teachers, the principals, the school superintendents, bridge that gap with them, and it just evolved over time where we were invited in to walk the schools, go to different meetings and events at the schools with the kids. As you can see, some of the pictures here, going in, talking to fifth graders, all the way up through the seniors, and talk about DWI programs that we have, with the seniors. But also a couple other things, I would go talk to different apartment complexes, management, meet them. Some of the things that we got involved with in the National Night Out, going to meet the communities in August, talk to the people that live there. And then we got involved in summer camps, the Pines of Barrington. We started the Pine Games every Tuesday and Thursday starting in July. They would have a summer camp right at the Pines of Barrington, for kids that couldn't get out to a summer camp, that may not have the money or funds to go to a summer camp. And we'd hold events right there. And the families and kids absolutely loved it. They couldn't wait to be there at noon on Tuesdays and Thursdays.
And I think that's a great opportunity to let the community know that, we're willing to do that at different places also, right? Our goal is to interact with the community as much as possible and seek these opportunities to come out and just engage. I was a neighborhood service center lieutenant in the city. I was a captain of a section in the city. And then when I came to the county, I was surprised by the lack of community groups and community group meetings. In the city, there's a ton of community groups, and there's meetings happening all the time. But in the county, our challenge is to really get to where people are so that we can interact with them and give them a chance, more importantly, to interact with us.
So some of the other things that we do now is we meet with the towns, the town supervisors, the business chambers, and we go out and meet them, and we're involved with them. We're active with them every month. If they have a meeting, we're generally invited to the business chamber meetings as well.
Deputy Payne, what do you see out in C-Zone? It's kind of the opposite side of the county.
So out in C-Zone, when I first took over this spot, senior scams was a big thing. So getting out and meeting with different senior groups, whether it's Tri or Parma or Riga or Sweden or in Hamlin, to educate. I think that's another great thing that we do as community engagement deputies is the ability to get out and educate people, spread awareness. So meeting with those senior groups was kind of a priority. And from there, then you start meeting other groups. And then there's this women's church group at St. Leo's up in Hilton, and then they wanted me to come and have a talk with them. I met with a men's group at the village at Unity in Greece. They wanted just a police officer to come talk with these older citizens. a lot of them military vets. So it was kind of cool to talk about my experiences, but to hear about their experiences as well. So, there's definitely all sorts of groups that you get to meet with. I get to do the FAIR program, Fundamentals of Alcohol Intoxication Recognition, and that's just servers and sellers of alcohol. So I meet with a lot of different restaurants or bar servers and get to interact with them. And that's always interesting because that's definitely a different demographic with young 20-somethings all the way up to, older, more experienced servers. But again, to get out and be able to educate and meet with these different groups and kind of show the different side, like Kelly talked about, the different side to law enforcement, that it's not just about the badge and, and the costume we wear for 8 hours a day. It's there's a human being behind that as well.
What is an example of the senior scam that that are going around right now?
So I mean, I guess maybe it's not a senior scam, but scams aimed at seniors. So the different ones, the main one that we were getting was phone calls from their supposed grandchild that they had been arrested, been in like a car accident, that they had killed somebody, and that they were going to go to jail if the senior didn't send money straight away, and then they would have a lawyer come on the line and act all professional, and then be willing to come out to meet them, to get the money from them so that their grandchild doesn't go to prison forever. And that was a scam that we were seeing around the county, actually. So just to get out there and educate them, because sometimes those seniors, that demographic, can get isolated, especially if if their spouse isn't with them anymore or their adult children have moved away. They can kind of be on an island, if you will. So when we can get together with those groups and try to spread that awareness, everybody wins in the end. So that was one that we kind of hit on a lot that we had seen across the county.
And I think just getting out important points, like if they ask you not to tell anyone or tell you not to tell anyone, it's a scam.
Yep.
No one's going to legitimately ask you for money for something and then say, don't tell anyone.
Well, and I tell them too, since COVID, the great thing is that, businesses, people are still not back to normal. And so a lot of these businesses, if people owe them money, especially banks, financial institutions, they're not going to threaten you for the money. They're gonna, they're gonna try to work with you. Hey, you owe me $100. Hey, can you pay $20 this month? Can you pay me $30? So at the same time, it's them just kind of taking a step back and realizing, hey, this doesn't need to be done right this moment. So for them to kind of take a step back and, hey, does this really make sense?
And Kelly, I know you're new to the role, but what opportunities are you seeing out in B-Zone?
We also do a lot of senior just education with the seniors, and the whole goal with that is to help keep them safe, develop some awareness of what some of their struggles are, whether it's walking out of a grocery store by themselves and how to keep them safe if there's a threat around, or have your keys in your hand. Actually have some bags in my office I'm prepared to pass out, and I believe they say steady feet, keys ready, something along those lines. So it's simple things, but sometimes simple is not what we tend to think about all the time. So educating senior centers, one of my favorite things to help educate is the youngsters, the elementary schools, about drug prevention and drug education as a whole. I think it starts there. It starts when kids are young. It gets more difficult for kids when they get older. There's the peer pressure. There's, again, that need to connect. And if kids aren't connecting with some safe person, whether it's a coach or a parent, they're going to connect in other ways. And that might be doing drugs with other kids. So if we can help that education and start young with that, I think kids have a really bright future.
When the sheriff's always talking about, for the opioid crisis that we're in, is prevention. How do we get them to stop starting? So that's where that really comes into play. Yeah.
Education, making sure that they can, first of all, identify drugs. What do drugs look like? What do vapes look like? I just learned recently how much nicotine is in one single puff of a vape. And it's a whole lot more than I ever thought. And nicotine's highly addictive. So all it takes is one puff of one vape, and then it's very easy to become addicted to that, and then that kind of opens the door for kids. So if we can start that education young, teach them, this is what this looks like, and if you see that, make sure you don't touch it, go get an adult, little things like that.
And I think one of the keys that we work collectively on also, and I know I've talked to you, Todd, extensively about it, is how do we get the deputy that's busy taking jobs an opportunity to engage with the community? Mm-hmm. Because they're always going from job to job, so they're not taking time to just sit down and talk to people and see who you're driving by at 40 miles an hour every day.
That's a good question. I mean, when they're not taking calls for service, they do get out of the car. We're contacted, the three of us are contacted about events that are going on in our community. And, we pass that along to the deputies and the boots on the ground to let them know, this weekend you have an event in your area going on. If you get a chance and want to stop by and talk to the people, go ahead and do that. That's some of the ways that we help get them to get out and meet people in their communities and the districts that they're working.
Yeah, it's almost like a full circle too. So you have deputies that are out taking calls for service, which is time consuming. And then they have crime reports on top of that. So then sometimes when they're not taking calls for service, they're doing reports. They're writing reports, and it's very time consuming for road patrol deputies. And they don't always have the time to stop. That's just, and it must be perceived as almost off-putting sometimes, I can only imagine, for the community, because sometimes the minds are so busy for road deps that they don't wave or they don't, engage as much as we would all like to. But that going said, the whole point of preventing crime, bringing up awareness, is to hopefully reduce things like fraud for the elders and things like that. And then
And we're constantly striving to work together, and I know the increase in staffing that we have coming up,
Mm-hmm.
and it just gives us an opportunity to really take that time.
Mm-hmm.
And so, one of the things is, how does somebody, if they wanted for the sheriff's office to engage with them, how would they do that?
Well, you can call us directly. We each have a line. And I would say the safe way to do it is to call us. They're right on the Monroe County Sheriff's Office. There's a direct line for each one of us.
Direct line, email address, and we're also
Yeah.
on Twitter. We're on social media. And we're at MCSO, COMM_engage. On there, you can reach us as well. Our email addresses and contact information is under there.
I think the key is we want people to know that we want to be contacted, right? This is
Yeah.
why we're here. We want you to call. We want you to email. We want you to reach out on Twitter, because we want to come out and interact with you, and we're looking for opportunities to engage the community. Sometimes I
Absolutely.
think people don't want to call the police, but
Yeah, it's one of those things where, we don't know what we don't know. So if you're having an event, reach out. And I mean, I've even had road deputies say, hey, this person contacted me over the weekend. They've got an event coming up. They've got this, they've got that. Can we throw somebody, put somebody out there and, attend? Or like Kelly said, we'll let them know, hey, you got events going on, fly the flag. Sheriff stickers are huge.
Yeah.
But
Sheriff
there always
stickers are
seems
huge.
to be a shortage. So we need to, the guys and girls are always asking me, and it's funny because I feel like they think I have this vault with all the stickers and I just hoard them. But no, I mean, that's a great tool that the deputies use and that we use when we go out there. And, usually for the kids. But sometimes the adults, they don't mind getting a junior deputy sticker. Granted, they think it's like a union sticker, and they'll put it on the windshield, and it'll help them in their next traffic stop. But no, I know the deputies love the junior deputy stickers to hand out to kids, and and I think since COVID and coming out of some dark times for our country and for law enforcement, a lot of people like to come up to deputies and thank them for their service. So I think that's a really cool way that all of us get to engage with the community, is that you have a lot more people, I think, willing to walk up to a deputy and, thank them and, say hi. So,
And just to touch on that too, John, I think people get a little nervous when they see us around in the community where we haven't been before. So that, in that sense too, you're getting into a community where you haven't been involved before. They said, is there a problem here? Why are you guys here? And a lot of times we'll just tell them, no, there's no problem. We want to come out into communities, talk to you, and something we haven't done before, so you might see us around a little bit more. That being said, not only going out into communities, but we open up our doors as well for people to come to the sheriff's office. we give Girl Scout tours, Boy Scout tours of the zones. We do ride-alongs for people. And we also have open houses at the zones now where people can come out and, see some of the equipment we have, meet deputies. We do it at the zones, and it's during the summer, but keep an eye out for that. We'll have one coming up in A Zone at least. We open the doors to everybody.
And I think if you're interested in any of those things, you could email or call any one of you and get that information, or
Correct.
when they set a date for the A Zone open house, you'll be more than happy to reach back out and give them that.
Yes.
I love to go out and walk. I just really enjoy walking
Same.
different communities. I was walking Hilton a few weeks ago, and twice I had people run me down to get another sticker because somebody else came up. They really do love those stickers.
Yep.
I don't understand, but they're running down the neighborhood, and one of them was like in middle school, where I wasn't even sure if the group would want a sticker, but one didn't get it, and they chased me down on the way back. So
Nice.
I think the more we can get out and interact and walk and just speak to people, because they do ask, how come you're walking? I even have friends will text me and say, I saw you walk in here. Why were you out there? Did something happen? I know, it's just a way to engage and give the ordinary people that you don't get to see all the time a chance to just talk to you.
And kind of just normalizing that, hey, law enforcement in your area doesn't mean it's a bad thing. No one questions when the fire truck rolls down their street. So at the same time, when there's a cop down your street, I tell people all the time, like, they could be eating lunch. They could have just come from a hot call and they needed, 10 minutes to kind of, decompress. But at the same time, they could just be flying the flag in your neighborhood just to, again, normalize it. Just like same thing with schools, churches, businesses, that, hey, we just want to be out there, and it just be normal that you have a police officer, just on watch there to not only keep you guys safe, but also, hey, potentially have a conversation with.
We were out walking one time, and I think we actually were offered a ride back to the car.
That happens quite frequently also. Someone will stop and ask.
You guys
me,
need to ride back to your car? No, we're all set. We're just out for a walk. And, we're out reaching those communities that don't get talked to, don't get reached, and that's why we're out doing that sort of thing.
And it's so important for people to realize we're part of the community.
Yep.
We all live in community. We all do extra things in the community. John, what are some of the extra things you do? I know you're unique as you're a board member.
Yeah, so I'm a board member for the Churchville Charlotte School District, which is very, very interesting and unique to get a perspective from that end of things, especially with the district that my wife teaches in and my 3 children go to. I also coach both my daughter's soccer teams for Chi-Li Soccer. We just actually got back from Virginia with my older team a couple weeks ago, and next week I'm going to Ohio with the younger team. So like I tell people, like it's a costume I put on for 8 hours a day, and then you go home and we have different hats that we wear, whether it's being a husband of 21 years, or my son's graduating this year from high school, and then again being a board member, being a coach, just being involved in the community, like you said, just that we're out there as civilians in our communities that we serve as well.
Right, and we're doing the same thing, right? We're coming to work, and then we're going home like everyone else. And our goal is to make it so everyone can have a safe, happy place to live and exceed in, and just really enjoy what's around them. There's so many wonderful things in Monroe County and so many wonderful people that we are here to serve and protect. It's just great to get out and have a chance to meet them. All right, we're going to end with the no Miranda zone. So I'm going to start with Deputy Payne. I know it's kind of you're surprised, Deputy Payne, but we're going to start with you. So since you brought it up, what is your favorite donut?
Wow. I gotta say it's like those vanilla dip ones at Tim Hortons with the sprinkles on top.
Right.
Just simple, but a little bit of crunch, a lot of sugar. So yeah.
So Tim Hortons donuts are your favorite.
I don't know. I would say that. because there's sometimes when the guys make the trip up towards Irondequoit, they come back with Culver Ridge donuts, and so I guess that probably Hortons is just there because we're there for the coffee too. So
Good coffee.
So shifting over to Kelly, what's something that never goes out of style, no matter how much time goes by?
Oh, man. I'm going to be community engagement corny. A smile. Because it just really doesn't. It just doesn't. Sometimes we need it from some other people, and sometimes we have to be the ones to give it, but...
That's a great answer, and I think Payne would have said a beard.
Probably.
He would have tried at least.
yeah.
So we're going to end with you, Deputy Thurston. I'm going to give you an easy one. What's what's your bucket list item that you really want to do?
That's a good question. Well, I just got back from Jamaica, so I was there for a week. So I think on my bucket list would be to skydive.
Skydive.
Call me.
Wow.
Have you skydived before, Kelly?
No, I want to. Maybe when the kids get a little older.
Podcast.
John, have you skydived?
No, I'm good.
So I went skydiving in Punta Gorda. But if you've ever watched What About Bob, when he's on the front of the sailboat and he's strapped in and he's taped up and he's screaming, "I'm sailing, I'm sailing." That's how I felt like when I was skydiving, because you're strapped to the person.
Yeah.
And you just step out of the plane, but it was just a wonderful experience when you just get to look. I tell people I had no sense that I was falling because the earth is so far away from you. I just didn't feel like I was falling. You're just moving really fast. It was just the views were spectacular. It was just a really thrilling event. So maybe we could do a community engagement skydiving event.
Can we?
Where the community engagement deputies will skydive. See, we just got to plug this a little bit. I can see John will be the one to watch for this event, but...
I mean, I can stay on the ground and just make sure you guys land safely.
Okay.
I'm not sure I
You can
trust
shoot
that
for
either.
us.
I'm not sure I trust you doing that, but
But I want to thank all of you for coming. I know community engagement is so important for the Sheriff's Office, and getting out to the community and giving them an opportunity to work with us and for us to collaborate with them is just tremendously important for law enforcement, and it just helps build relationships. So thank you for what you do, and hopefully we'll get more calls, emails, and messages on Twitter for more interaction opportunities.
appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.